Hi crafters, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter, and today I am back with some more card samples using this gorgeous collection of stamps by Christina Griffith for Card Making Magic. And if you want to know how I got this entire set of stamps here, these came with the Creative Stamping magazine number 119. I am going to be linking this down below. I cannot believe the price of this is only $13.99. And in fact, this past weekend, these magazines were at a phenomenal price. If you have seen my previous video, then you would have found out that there was a special going on. And these magazines not only lend you kind of previews into what's coming next in the crafty world by our creative designers, it also allows you to see different ways in which you can use the plethora of stamps and dies and different mediums that you can use in your card making. And of course, what better way to see the way that your cards can turn out than to see different pictures in full color and then with step-by-step instructions. So this is of course wonderful for beginners, but if you're a seasoned crafter, you can definitely of course use what you have in your stash. And not only that, just supplement what you have by adding a collection of stamps such as these, and then mixing and matching with other items that you might have in your craft room already. What I've done is that I've created a few cards. I'm going to start with this one here, and this is called a Z-fold style card. So the reason it's got the name, of course, is because of the way that you fold the base of the card. And this is a pretty easy type of card to make. However, what I've done is that I've used the digital papers that I did print out, and I shared this in the previous video. You can get them from CRAFTSTASH, or you can get them through CraftWorld, and they can definitely supplement also your crafty stash. All you need is an at-home printer, and if you don't have that, you can save the file onto a USB stick and take it to your office store, and they can print it out for you in the type of paper that you like, quality that you like, and that's really a wonderful way to invest into digital papers and get a lot of use out of them. So if you of course have a computer program where you can manipulate shapes and things like that, you can even take it further from there. So here I did some embossing onto vellum that I layered onto cardstock that is stamped also in the same color palette. I stamped onto this piece of white cardstock and heat embossed the image. I then colored it in with pencils, and then on here I did a similar technique. I just went ahead and heat embossed that image and onto a white piece of cardstock, and I did do some ink blending on the edges, colored it in with pencils, and then added the sentiment as a separate block just by cutting out a little rectangle once I stamped that out. And the background papers that you see there are also from the digital collection that I mentioned before. And on the back I just added another little rectangle with a little bit of inking on the edges. The next card that I made was this one here, and I love the soft colors, so what I did is that I colored this door image, and that particular stamp comes with this little pot here. I also use colored pencils, and I did use different color inks. For instance, for these little images here of these potted plants, I did stamp those out in a green color and then color it in with a pencil. And then these little portions here, I stamped out in blue. And of course, what I did on this one is that I actually fussy cut the image and glued it right on top. I did the same thing here. By fussy cutting that little basket portion, I was able to adhere it right on top of the same image that I had stamped, and it gives a little bit more of dimension, and that's of course a technique you can use in card making that's a lot of fun, and it gives you a lot of versatility in color. This is just a double matted layer using the different digitals, and the background, that floral piece, is also a digital from the same collection. And then I used the stamps from the collection that say best wishes, combined it with on your retirement, and there I have a beautiful card that I can give away. The next card that I made is this one, and I was going for a more masculine feel, so I went ahead and cut out the base out of black cardstock, and I did adhere another digital image or paper onto the back so that I could have that gorgeous green going on there. But on the front, I did stamp the image onto watercolor cardstock. I then did a technique where you use masking fluid for watercolor and cover the entire image. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and color your background. All I did was paint it with a water brush. This one here, True Turquoise, I believe is the color that I used for that background. I then also, I stamped the little tool here, the pitchfork I guess is the name, onto that after having masked the image so that it would look like it's in the background. I added the little pots here. Those were stamped individually and added with dimension. This other little pot here with the flowers is a separate stamp that I added right on top, and so were the little fork and trowel. Those are adhered right on top after I stamped them separately, and it's all stamped out of the same type of material, so it looks cohesive, and it's all framed also with another piece of watercolor cardstock. And then on the inside I did stamp the little ivy that comes in the set. So very pretty. And then last but not least, I made this card here. It's very simple, but it has depth because of the color and the techniques that I use. First, I cut out my watercolor cardstock using hexagons instead of ovals or squares, the kind of the expected shape. But what you see there in the background is yet another digital image, digital paper, and I use that as my color palette to color the images on the stamps. So on here, I did a little bit of masking by first stamping out the watering can onto vellum. I heat embossed that image as well as the wheelbarrow. I colored those by flipping the image over on its back and then using alcohol markers to color those in. It lends that nice shine, and I did use Nouveau embossing powder in Pearled Pistachio to give me that beautiful, it's a green, but it's got a pearlescent finish. I had already cut out separately both images, if you see here, and pardon my fingers, I've been coloring, but I use those images, and you'll see in the video, because I am going to share a tutorial on this particular card, and this one's, it's been through some stuff. I did use them, but in any case, you can use a little tiny bit of adhesive to adhere that image onto your background paper, and then stamp right on top of it with the larger image, or whichever one you want to show up on the back. In this case, I did the little pots, and so on and so forth. So you can cover however many images you like by first cutting them out, and that's called a mask. For instance, if I wanted to create this image here and then layer another one on top, then I would just create a mask first and then stamp the image. And I hope that makes sense, but you'll see it in the video. I then went ahead and just colored it using different Aquaflow pens, and I also used an alcohol marker just for this particular frame here, but I wanted, of course, this nice palette of pastels, and it was super easy to do. I just adhered it here on the background, and then on the inside I used one of the little cards that came in the magazine collection of sentiments that were made available with this purchase. So if you see here, here's another one that I had cut out. You can use your dies, if you have them, to go ahead and cut these out into different shapes. And there are so many. You can make so many cards with these. And what I really like is that you can either use this kind of chalkboard style, if that's what you like, or you can use the lighter color. So depending on the style of card that you're making, you can vary it up very much. So I hope that you have enjoyed this sampling, and of course, if you are part of the VIP program, when you make a purchase at CraftStash, if you purchase any of their exclusive brands, you're going to get another 10% off of your purchase. There are other benefits to it as well, such as special sale prices on items from the very designers. For instance, Christina Griffith's right now, there is a bundle that you can get from her for only $15.99. That includes a die set, a stamp set, and a matching stencil, I believe. So you can get adhesives, tools, all sorts of things at special prices. I think it's a phenomenal deal. Don't hesitate to use the links below, and remember that that VIP membership is only $14.99 for the entire year here in the US and £9.99 over in the UK, but CraftStash will ship almost everywhere. So feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know which card was your favorite. I look forward to reading your comments, and of course, if you have not yet subscribed, I do invite you to do so by clicking on that subscription button, and the notification bell will alert you to new videos such as these. And as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed, and I thank you so much for watching.